All right, man. Let's talk. I feel like the Detroit Pistons, after the moves they made, they still got moves to make. There's concern that they won't be as good next year. I think a lot of that had to do with, the Malik Beasley thing. I mean, a lot of people was kind of torn on bringing him back because his playoff performance. But ultimately, the ability probably not to have him to bring him back made people mad, and they made a couple moves. And on paper, they didn't improve. I say that much, and I'm gonna tell you why. They got Karis LeVert, which player for player is an upgrade over Malik Beasley. Fit, we don't really know, but one thing about Karis LeVert, we know physically, he can't hold up. So I think that was why one of the points was it was critical to get a guy like Malik Beasley behind him. I mean Malik Monk that can also, score. And then you have the enigma of Jaden Ivey. One thing about Monk, I believe he's under contract for 2 years. Monk, if something happened with Ivy, or you had to move on, Monk can come in there and start. Now, I hear this kid Chaslin there. I don't believe in any second round pick in the NBA. Unless he has some type of trouble. NBA talent pool is so superficial. It's like, people getting excited. Like, dude, you ain't going to see this guy do anything. We didn't even see the German guy, Bobby Killerman, whatever his name is. I heard he put on like 10 pounds of muscle or something like that. But we didn't see him last year. So, one thing about Detroit, most Detroit teams, you will know, they don't improve. They don't go out there and financially try to improve. That's why it was a whole shocker when they traded for Rasheed Wallace. They don't necessarily do things to get them over the hump. When it came down to paying Ben Wallace, a couple million per year, they said no. That's one thing that, every year a lot of the fans get they hopes up. Oh, the Pistons right there, they should go for it. And the media say they should close the gap, and they never closed that gap. They never closed that gap. And it's no different here. And they still need to make moves. I feel like they still need a big fella that can shoot. But then, they go out there and get Nikola Vujovic, who about 80 years old. Why? Because eventually it'll be cheaper. They still need to go out there and find a guy that can handle the ball and replace Schroeder. That was critical. They haven't done that. They also need somebody, like I said, like Monk, somebody that can create their own shot. They still haven't done that. So right now, does it sound familiar? They're going to take the route of self-improvement. They're going to bank on, some of their young guys getting better to make that next jump. And therefore, a lot of fans see and media see that it's, the East is right there for the taking. Atlanta went out there and made a lot of moves. Now, I wouldn't say just to make moves, but they made some moves. Along with, they're going to hope that Dyson Daniels takes the next jump offensively. Jalen Johnson take the next step and go. So they was like, you know what? We're going to go get Porzingis. I think they made a few other moves. We're going to make these moves and we're going to go now. But then again, in their opinion, Trae Young has been there. I don't see them getting much better. And a lot of people wanted them to go get a Lauri Markkanen or a John Collins to really upgrade to Tobias Harris' position. That was one of the first things that Jalen Rose said they needed to do, is to go out there and find a power forward. And a lot of people ran with that, or a lot of people believed in that's what he was saying. Me personally, I think they're fine right now. Eventually they need to fill that position. I think they're fine right now. That's enough stability. They need to find another scorer. Because you get Duncan Robinson, he replaced Tim Hardaway Jr. He's just not the defender. You get Karis LeVert, he replaced Beasley. He don't have the durability. So you need that extra oomph off the bench. So as of right now, I feel like the way I feel about the Detroit Lions, they haven't got better. But, both are going to bank on development. And I just feel like a lot of the time that's just the cope you had the fans. It's just coping with the fact that you don't want to spend the money. But then again, with hard salary caps and cap space, you can't be reckless. You can't live today, and then tomorrow you got to make a bunch of harsh decisions. You know what I'm saying? So, they still need to make moves, and whether it's bringing a Malcolm Brogdon in or compensing a Chris Paul to come play that guard position, or going out there making a move for a stretch five, or it's going out there finding another professional scorer like Beasley off the bench. They have holes. They have holes. They have holes. So that's something that he got to figure out how to feel. But it's just taking the same route as the Lions. And you look, the Lions, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people feel like they're right there. But they, in a cap situation, I get it. That cap situation tells you like, yeah, they got 40 million, but next year they'll be 53 over the cap. And obviously they have some decisions to make. And they will make those decisions. That's why you draft well. For the Lions, for the Pistons, it's like, oh, we was right there. We had Ivy and Stewart. Don't that sound familiar? Oh, the Lions last year, we had Hutch and we didn't have all those injuries. We would have won it. That sounds very familiar, right? And unfortunately, more so in football, that doesn't work. More so in football, that rule of thumb doesn't work. Every year's a new year, it's every new players. Some people play out of their body. Some people physically fall off. Injury still can, derail your season. So, but overall, back to the Pistons. In the long run, really, in the season, really, what you banking on is Sasser, Thompson, Hollins, who changed his number to number 5 as soon as Beasley got there. You're banking on, a lot of them young guys, coming alive. Ivy. And if they come to play, hey, are they good enough to win the championship? I would say no. But yeah, if they come to play, yeah, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. So it's a whole different ball game. So, but yeah, I would love to see it, but my damn window's foggy and shit. Should have put the defrosters on, but they got some work to do. So, and I think he understands that. And Terajan Langdon. And to his credit, they had to pivot, and I'm gonna talk about that too with Malik Beasley. They had to pivot, so very understandable. So pull up a little bit, but hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon, Kick, to wherever I'm at in the link tree. Appreciate it. Shout out to Truckers and Talk Playlist. Peace.